We're into the draft, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic has shown up, but here we go. Fnatic and Team Dignitas. Now, of course, we are using Heroes.gosu.cup, new tool here powered by Gosugamers for all your drafting needs. And they're going to be doing some map striking. It's a really actually neat feature that they added here to it. So now we see Fnatic, they don't want to play on Garden of Terror. Dignitas, they're going to actually strike out Dragonshire. If I have to take a guess, I'm thinking we're going to Cursed Hollow, Mr. Shangucher.
Yes, yesterday I think we went, 3 for 4, 4 for 5, something along those lines on that map. It's interesting because no Dragonshire, man.
A lot of
Dragonshire, no
a lot of
Sky
people don't
Temple.
like it, man. It's a small map. Like,
Yeah.
it really lends itself to the Siege Sisters. We've seen Sergeant Hammer play absolutely huge there. And, an Illidan comp on Dragonshire, it's not as effective because the map is smaller. Illidan likes to play in big playgrounds, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Depending on the map we see, so we see no Sky Temple, no Garden of Terror, which are obviously the biggest maps in the pool. So that's taken out. So it's between Blackheart's Bay and Cursed Hollow, and I think I know what's about to go out here, Sean.
If we get the Pirates, I'll be super happy, but a lot of people just do not like that map. It's too PvE focused. You can win without winning an entire fight. It's silly, and yeah, there we go. As you said, the crowd favorite, the #1 competitive map in the history so far of our short time in Alpha and Beta. It is going to be Cursed Hollow, and here we are into the draft. So Team Dignitas, what do they like to run? What does Fnatic like to run? Because I know unless we're going to see an Illidan ban, we're probably going to see an Illidan pick for like first rounds for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously teams have put a lot of emphasis onto the Illidan play, but Fnatic is known for their Illidan play. They've been running him for a very, very long time with obviously a good amount of success with him. So if teams weren't thinking about banning out Illidan, I won't be surprised if they put even more priority into doing that right now. Team Dignitas does have first ban, first pick. So that's they're gonna have to think about that. Zeratul is another big one that I've seen banned out against them quite frequently. Not recently, but I have seen that banned out. And Team Dignitas going with, you know what? We saw Sergeant Hammer destroy teams last night.
Oh yeah.
We do not want to see that again. We don't want to dual side Hammer. We're going to take that out of play.
And I mean, we have these polarizing picks right now in Heroes of the Storm. It's going to either be an Illidan or a Sergeant Hammer, or it's some mix of something that is just a little bit more old school. I mean, Vala, Tychus combo, Zeratul, Stitches. These are the kind of like the big secondary picks if it's not going to be a Hammer or an Illidan. But it's actually going to be an Uther ban out from Fnatic.
Taking a page out of North America. That's something we see a lot in North America. We haven't really seen much over here in Europe with the time that we've been casting them. So anytime you ban out a healing support, it really allows you to help dictate the flow of the draft early on if you pick up your healing support. Obviously, the big ones available right now are Malfurion and Rhaegar. Those are kind of the big go-to ones. We do see a Lily every now and then as well sprinkled in, but generally the only time you see Lily is if you see both Malfurion and Rhaegar not picked up. So Fnatic knows they have a Rhaegar, Uther's banned, so they probably have a good idea of what Team Dignitas is going to put up for their healing support, especially with an Illidan. Won't be surprised to see a Tassadar coming out here, maybe even a Diablo or an ETC to pick up their warrior.
Man, like we've seen so many Diablos as of late. This patch really did kind of bring him back into focus. We saw the nerfs on top of Arthas. We've seen nerfs on now Nubarak, Tyrael. That kind of just leaves us down to, the Stitches, who, while he has been nerfed, he's still a very powerful hero. ETC and Diablo. Those are right now the top 3 heroes that you're going to see in these drafts. And, I mean, we said it. Cursed Hollow, first pick on one of these times is going to be an Illidan. Team Dignitas got it. They got an ETC to go with it. They're not going to get a Rhaegar or an Uther, which means that they probably have to solidify a Malfurion or a Tassadar right here. Actually, I might even go with the Tassadar. I mean, you can live with a Tassadar, Lily.
Yeah.
Tassadar, Tyrande. But at this point, I think they are going to need to secure one of those supports for them. Fnatic on the other side, they get themselves a Vala, they got themselves a Rhaegar, and now they're looking to build up the rest of the squad. There's the Tyrande from Dignitas. Tyrande, Illidan, ETC. That is a scary comp.
That is a very scary composition. There's so many different ways you can organize that in the early game with your lanes. You can Illidan is actually a pretty decent solo laner, and that's actually a common role we see him in. Very rarely do you see Illidan in party lanes just because of how that matchup tends to work in a 3v3 situation. But the ETC Tyrande, that's a very good combination. It gives you a lot of zone control with ETC's power slide and all his skill set. Obviously, Tyrande, you got to be afraid of those lunar flares, and you follow up from those lunar flares. So right now, Team Dignitas, they need to get themselves a healing support, unless they're going with a really heavy pick-off composition with just a solo Tyron kind of pseudo support, half a healing support, if you will. But if they want to go with a more traditional lineup with a healing support, obviously Malfurion and Lily are on the table. There are times where teams with that Illidan put more emphasis on the Lily than the Malfurion, because Lily, she scales very, very well in the late game, as well as Illidan. But she brings a little bit more burst healing with her 1,000 cups heroic at level 10, though it depends on the team, depends on the players, depends on the other variables going into that. Malfurion can keep Illidan alive. Okay, so they are going to go with that Malfurion, and I won't be surprised to see a Tassadar here, though there's a lot of other options they could pick up.
Yeah, Bruiser Tassadar, Damage Tassadar, a little bit more offensive, at least in his role and capacity as that savior of the Protoss. So, I mean, definitely could go that way. They might actually go a little bit more damage-wise. I suspect we're not going to see a Zeratul. I mean, that would it is a very good map for it. We are not seeing a Stitches here either, but you know, if it wasn't going to be that Malfurion, I was kind of wondering, you know, a lot of our NA bias is really against Brightwing in our meta, but Brightwing is actually still very alive in the EU scene. So
for some reason, I
easily could have been that. And there you go.
Yeah.
So it is going to be the back end damage there of the Nazeebo. So they're going to try to use Illidan and ETC for the dive, keep the focus on them, get that Nazeebo. There's the Stitches tank for Fnatic. That's what they needed to finish off that draft. But Fnatic is, you know, the 2.5 DPS here. You might as well call Zagara a DPS instead of a Siege. She excels so well. She's going to be in a lane. Stitches are going to be in a lane. They're neither of them very likely to die unless we're going to be seeing a roaming combat at Dignitas, which you very well could see. ETC roam with Tyrande, or Tyrande Malfurion come visit a lane. Both are very, very possible at this point, because it is Cursed Hollow, does lend itself very nicely to roams, but it also just could be, you know, we got to be putting the people in the party lane, which would probably be the Nazeebo, Malfurion, Tyrande down there.
Yeah, and that's a powerful lane. Zagara is a hero that I last night underestimated her damage, and I died a whole bunch of times, and it was no fun. People do not understand how much damage she's actually able to put out. Not only her right click, but her Hydralisks. Once she gets, you know, Hunter Killer and Mutalisks, the damage on those abilities is absolutely insane. So if a team doesn't have like just big amounts of AoE damage to deal with all these minions and whatnot, they can just tear apart in team fights. And I like to see more Zagara play. She's one of those heroes, kind of like Hammer. She has to have a lineup that's able to protect her, because she doesn't have any escape mechanism other than spamming a maul after she gets hooked or something like that. But Fnatic definitely has a good lineup. The Stitches obviously can do a good amount of zone control. Vala as well. Rhaegar's going to be able to keep up any burst damage. And I like both these teams' drafts. I like them quite a bit. I feel like I'm a little more leaning towards Dignitas, maybe like 60-40, something like that. But Fnatic definitely have a great lineup, kind of a good, you know, hook 'em and kill 'em Stitches composition. It all depends on what build the Tychus goes. More than likely, we're going to see that overkill build. What level 4 is kind of the big, big bifurcation, if you will, of where Tychus goes with their build. Whether they get the Lead Rain and the overkill ability, or whether they get the Melting Point and then kind of take off from there.
Yeah, Melting Point is almost 100% what you get here on NA, but I mean, it's 50-50 on this side. Fnatic, again, I mean, we've seen the power of Melting Point before at that level 4 talent for our Tychuses, but again, you know, it is Dignitas, Chris playing out that Illidan. I wouldn't have expected anything else. He's kind of getting dizzy right now, but an overkill build to just try to deal with that. Not only that, but there's going to be an ETC. I mean, Tyrande doesn't have any innate escapes. The Malfurion as well. Would not be surprised to see it a bit more team fight oriented. But game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, ready to go here when the Gosugamers stream. Enter the Storm Cup number 1, qualifier number 2. We are here with the Team Blue, Team Dignitas, Nirok, Linked, Chris, Sailless. And into the bottom, strangely enough, is actually going to be Blood Dragon. Are they setting up for a roam then? We'll find out.
It could be a possibility. I don't know what roam composition they could really do on the side of Fnatic, at least. But top lane, they're going to be pushing down this top lane real hard, and we're going to see party lane versus party lane up here at the top. Get the invitation, be there or be square, and get your towers pushed in. We're going to see a Wish Doctor, Tyrande, Malfurion versus a Vala Rhaegar. Shinubo's going to retreat momentarily to lay down some creep right there. And looking at level 1, it's there's the overkill talent we were talking about. And I think we're going to see that overkill build. The overkill build, you can still take Melting Point. You forego a little bit of a big boost on your overkill damage, but Melting Point's such a strong ability, it's hard to, put that down. But the reason I want to see it's the overkill is because of that Illidan, because overkill goes through evasion. And that's a big thing. It's a great tool at dealing with that Illidan when he's inside of that Metamorphosis, dodging all the damage while you can't dodge an overkill, and really enables you to take him out in a very easy capacity.
Well, just so we don't get you guys too confused, on the flip side here from Red, it's going to be Fnatic. A longtime brand in video games, in Heroes of the Storm even. They went out. The brand was there at BlizzCon. They've been playing since Alpha, and they are here to prove that they can beat out newcomers Dignitas. Shinobu, Kessel, and Ace of Spades are up into the top. They are laying siege very well. Lowell in the mid up against Chris, so that's going to be fun for Chris, and Blood Dragon and Freds. Freds on that Stitches, by the way, is an absolute master with some of these hooks. We've seen him do phenomenal work in the past.
Oh, yeah. The man's a beast. The man's a beast. The man is an abomination, if you will. This top lane, looking at the composition, I feel like Dignitas has a lot of potential for getting people picked off here, but Fnatic is doing a phenomenal job at great positioning, making sure they don't get caught out in more than one zombie wall, more than one lunar flare, and they are really bossing around Dignitas in this early game so far. Both the teams' experience is pretty even, but those top towers, they're completely out of ammo, and both of them are down to 2/3 HP. So that means whenever they do get their boss, it's going to do a significant amount of damage. That's going to help them out quite a bit. 2-minute mark is here. Mercenary camps spawning up.
Yep, we are. Actually, nobody's going to take a run at them, which is curious. But sometimes we do like to see the timing. They'll go for their bruisers or they'll go for the easies, and then if they do actually have luck on their side, those will be pushing out other lanes. Well, the tribute does come around, but right now with it into the top, both teams, they do got 3-man presence ready to go. Ace is going to be the target as he's in the back, but he's just going to be able to heal himself up. And we're playing a poke game right now. It is basically how much can we poke and be annoying. Sailless getting a little bit low on the hit points there. We do got a healing ward out, but between the Malfurion, between the Nazebo, between Owls with the Pierce, as you notice, it just goes right through everyone. They can really lay siege to this. The problem is that nobody's really going to get big an amount of experience out of it because everybody else is soaking. There's no hold up. And, even then at the mid, Lowell came up there. He was able to secure it there for his team, but back and forth, not really a big advantage going either way yet.
Yeah, conservative play on both sides of the field. Working out a little bit more well for Fnatic. They just had a little bit of a better rotation with the initially the Rhaegar came up there to help out. He went down to mid lane, then came back out. There's several rotations that happened during that, but they do have that one tribute lead, and that can really help them out if they are able to get themselves a pick up here. But from the looks of this, Sean, we're seeing static lanes. It's just the push and grab sort of strategy that we see all the time. No one is actually falling back to the mercenary camps either. They want to be doing that. So it looks like just, exchange some blows, wait for the next exchange at the tribute, and take it from there.
Well, Fnatic is basically the guys in the driver's seat right now. They're consistently pushing up. These towers are not looking so hot. Do we have a mule? Give ourselves a no mule. All right, so those towers, they're getting chipped away. And, mid as well, not looking so hot. That melting point picked up at level 4, and now even quarterback from Lowell.
Wow.
So much for the overkill, guys. They are absolutely doing work. So, yeah, right now, it's all about Fnatic dictating this early game. They pick up the second tribute on the back of that, so they're up 2 out of 3. They're at level 8. They're very quick pickups. There was absolutely no contesting right there. But Dignitas, they can't afford to break off, go get some mercs, because it's just, they're going to lose their lanes before they even get any results from the mercenaries.
Yeah, just a strong lane configuration is really enabling Fnatic to just control the tempo of this game. They're going to get these towers in the top lane. That's going to give them an even more significant experience boost. The towers in the mid lane are going to be bottom right. Lowell's got that quarterback. Peyton Manning is going to be throwing out those grenades, and one more grenade is going to kill those towers. So all he has to do is push in the lane a little bit. That's going to be another tower, and that's going to put him right on the cusp of level 10. And that's a big deal, considering this second tribute is spawning. Granted, the positioning definitely favors Dignitas. It's more closer to the base. They are able to get in a little bit better position beforehand if they make a rotation sooner rather than later. But being behind on a heroic, that's a really big deal. I don't know if Dignitas are going to be able to contest this. They have to stay in lane. They have to get level 10, or else they're just going to get blown up.
And yeah, speaking of that level 10, here it is. Fnatic, they get it. Laser goes down, and Illidan is gonna bite one right into the dust. Yeah, he's gonna bite the dust right there. I wanted to say bite the bullet and then like bite dust, and I don't know, kind of got weird. But you're right, with those heroics, I mean, they get the kill. Illidan's now down, and this is third tribute hype for Fnatic. This is a very possible early game curse, and I'm not too sure Dignitas has anything left in the bank to stop it.
Yeah, their early game was just so stagnant. Yes, Fnatic's was as well, but at least they made a couple rotations during the tributes, enabled to get the tributes, and now they're put in this position. Just those small, little kind of micro plays that we see really are starting to pay off in dividends, as now they are taking down the final of the tier 1 towers. All the forts are exposed in every single lane. They're up in level advantage here, but let's see if Dignitas are able to turn this around. A good rate of vengeance on a 2, devouring Maw on a 2 as well. This is looking great so far for Fnatic, but if Chris is able to survive here, they could potentially turn this around. He needs to live. He's so close to going down. They're trying to run away. Meanwhile, over here to the east, the Starfall did a little bit of damage. There is the Ancestral Healing. So now Vala is going to be topped off. Shinubo, though, is very, very low. They're going to have to retreat. There's the overkill. Zombie on the Lowell. There's Blood Dragon going in. He's got to be careful because he's low as well. Tranquility was already used. Stage Drive is up. Oh, a good hook on the Link, but he's out of mana, and I think we're going to see retreat from both of these teams, as a lot of blows were exchanged, but no one's getting knocked out quite yet. And quite a wonky team fight right there, very back and forth, though Fnatic once again are on the aggression.
Yeah, Sailless, he's going to be a big target, but we do got a little bit of mana. The fountain is still up. Maybe Fnatic should have actually looked at taking it down. Maybe they'd be able to push in a little bit harder here, but that was the entirety of the curse, Mr. Shane Gutscher. They got the mid, they got the top, but the lane that they were in was the lane that they were fighting, and that bottom four will live to see another day. And that is actually the removal of the threat of a curse for another 3 tributes. So we maintain level lead. We get 0 kills. 2 forts do go down to the credit of Fnatic, but you know, I've seen better curses.
A good defense from Dignitas there. They finally moved out of their lanes. Finally, you know, maybe caught in some quicksand, able to get out of that, and defended that bottom fort. The top fort, the big one is the most important one is definitely that top fort, because that's the lane where Fnatic's boss is. Though the tier 2 towers went completely untouched, so it's not like it's going to have a free highway to the keep and the top lane. But nonetheless, those tier 2 towers are exposed. Those are 800 experience each. And with a level 13 advantage, Fnatic can definitely, you know, they have a window of opportunity to get something done here. And it looks like they might possibly be rotating towards the side of Dignitas' jungle here.
Yeah, we're trying to paint this map red right now. I mean, they got his stitches, they see that the boss is going up, and now the angle of that owl says that people are here. Unfortunately, it was too little too late, and it is just going to be a hook there on top of one of the bruisers. So not exactly the end-all for hooks there, Freds. I mean, yeah, it hit. Good job, but it's not going to quite be the kill that they were looking for. It is only 1 kill, nil. Right now, Dignitas is actually looking to defend out their mid because they do have bruisers that they got to deal with themselves, and that's going to lead us into more aggression from Fnatic into the bottom lane. That's going to be the 3rd fort. They will maintain, well, a little bit of a lead, but it seems to be shrinking as time goes on. Yes. They had a full level. Now it's less than that.
Yeah, Dignitas are doing a good job right here. Now when they hit the mid-game, they're hitting their mid-game stride. ETC was soaking middle. Now he rotated up top to push that in. These tier 1 towers are under barrage of the siege overs. Looks like the Vala is going to be sweeping up here to clean those up in no time at flat. But yeah, they're doing what they need to do when you're in a situation where you're on the back foot, and that is basically just soak experience more efficiently than the enemy team. They might get a mercenary camp or 2, and that's not even the case right now. So they're doing a good job. They're utilizing that global presence of the ETC accordingly, and now they've evened up the levels. Here's the next tribute, and we're pretty much back to square one when it comes to tributes here, Sean.
All right, so last fight, the teams bounced off each other. Low hit points all around, but there were no kills. We use out the clairvoyance. We find that creep teamer, nobody in the party bush. They're going to be all right. Now it's a little bit more of a poke game on top of the ace. We need to get some kind of big momentum here for Dignitas if they want to grab even this first tribute, but it's so much healing. Freds is going to be all right. That's going to be a hook, though, on top of Chris. Chris is going to live to see another day, but that's also going to be the green carpet. As soon as that's done, they are free to engage as they see fit.
And if it's one thing that Dignitas has, it's reliable initiation with the stage dive and the metamorphosis. In the position that Fnatic currently are in, they're positioning themselves well. This is just a battle of position right now. Both teams are waiting for one of these other teams to get out of position and initiate the fight. Fred obviously trying to land those good hooks. Blood Dragon, he's going in there. See, Fnatic was all caught up in the fort. That's their time to go. Now, we're looking for the stage dive. We're looking for the metamorphosis. That's going to be the pulling of the trigger for this team of Dignitas right now. There's a lot of posturing for these teams, but neither of them are really willing to commit. Laser has been used, Starfall's been used, Putrid Bile is on cooldown, but Metamorphosis, Ravenous Spirit, and Stage Diver up. Those are the 3 important heroics to be up for Dignitas to have a successful team fight.
They're not going to give this up, I don't think. No, that's going to be the Lunar Blaze from afar. Ace of Spades does once more get hit by that by the poke. Blood Dragon's going to go in. He doesn't have that Mosh. This would have been a perfect place for it. He just still does, however, have that stage dive. As you said, he's getting a little bit low in the hit points. Chris goes in yet again, pokes and pokes and pokes. The double support versus only the Rhaegar. They're trying to wear down this team, but how long have we now sat at this tribute, Mr. Shade Gucher? Nobody's getting that lane experience. Well, all right, Dignitas is actually going to push in a little bit here, but Blood Dragon got time. He went all the way home, got the heals. He's now back. Chris is going to Metamorphosis, and here comes the heal. Freds is going to be back up to full. Blood Dragon is not going to be living out of that one. Beat for dinner, and a great maw on the back of it as well. It leaves Chris to his own devices. Freds now in pursuit with Kessel. The stuns into the back are not enough to dissuade Fnatic, but they will take home the 2nd kill of the game in 11 minutes. And this tribute should be by all rights there.
Oh, Nurak trying to play the delay game with his Lunar Flare, but he's going to pay for it with his life. And now this is going to enable the Fnatic get their 4th tribute of the match, rotate up here towards the boss. Sean, that team fight was so long, we saw 2 Putrid Biles, almost time for 3, which Putrid Bile has a 60-second cooldown. So we're looking at about a 2.5, almost 3-minute exchange right there, with only 1 person going down. And Dignitas, they just got a little impatient, and with that impatience came poor positioning as they walked through a bottleneck, and that's when that Maw pretty much counter-initiated on Dignitas, and that's what enabled ETC to go down there. They almost got Stitches down, but the Ancestral Healing from Rhaegar was on point, and that was the turnaround point for them to win that team fight, get the tribute, get the boss. Even with that team fight, it's not a huge advantage going one way or the other. Yes, it is a little bit of an advantage going the way of Fnatic right now. They have more pressure on the map because they got the golem. But looking at the experience, it's only a very slight experience lead.
Yeah, that was a really... I've never really seen teams commit that much for the first tribute since the
Yeah, right.
It was 0-0. Now it's 0-1 after almost 3 minutes of fighting. Absolutely insane. Fnatic, though, I mean, with that kill, as you said, they got the boss. It's really telling us where Dignitas is. They're defending out the top. Now they lose out the bottom boss, but, you know, sneaky, the Blood Dragon, he's going to be up top. He is going to put, finally, a tribute into the pocket of Dignitas, and... you know, Fnatic, they're okay with that, as they should be. It's only their first tribute for Dignitas. They're starting to paint that map red. 3/4 of all the mercenaries now into their pocket, and, you know, the damage is starting to add up. Level 16, both sides. It's now into the final stretch for that race to 20.
And Fnatic definitely have a good head start right now. They're going to get these tier 2 towers mid lane, bottom lane. A golem is pushing. Top lane is the only one that's kind of in Dignitas' favor, but 2 out of the 3 lanes are pushed in. We have 5 out of 5, for those of you that math hard like me, in the mid lane, pushing in. Now, the defense from Dignitas is pretty solid. Obviously, a long-range siege stun from Tyron is going to catch anyone out of position. And also, the Witch Doctor as well can just throw out all those little insects and bugs he has available to him. But yeah, 4 tier 2 towers going down. That's 1,600. That is 2,400. Yeah, that's a good amount of experience going the way of Fnatic, and it's showing. They now are level 17, level 16. The tribute sure is spawning in their favor, and they're looking real good. But conservative play is the name of the game right now, Sean.
And, you know, again, we're looking at the tribute. We're looking at these clutch points, these small bottlenecks. And Dignitas, they have memories of the last fight that they just went in. And that Maw was absolutely huge. The pressure points, these choke points, it's not where you really want to be engaging on this. I mean, the laser, the green carpet of the Putrid Bile, and the Maw, they're just too much to deal with when everybody's clumped up. We don't really have, like, a super huge amount of sustain. It's just the Malfurion as well as the Tyrande. So, I mean, yeah, sure. We have ourselves 1 healing ward as a note. You know, we don't have the double. It is protective shield, once again, for Malfurion. But, yeah, I mean, they can't really deal with that level of AoE. And Fnatic really do have their number in that regard. I mean, when you make an Illidan comp, AoE's not really the name of the game.
Gather tribute.
Yeah, it's all about trying to get that single target burst onto the Illidan. They've done a pretty damn good job of killing the frontliners. The very few kills we've seen have been on ETC. They almost have killed Illidan multiple times. Well, they might not get a secure kill on him. They at least do enough damage to him after Metamorphosis to where he has to retreat, and his contribution to the team fight is next to none. But here we go, the next tribute right on top of Dignitas' Watchtower. Blood Dragon's got to be careful, getting caught out of position there by Lowell and Kessel on the Vala. That the team are actually separated right now. Blood Dragon's down here in the fight. The Witch Doctor is up there. He's in position for a Ravenous Spirit, but he has to take account for that fishing hook. As we saw, Fred went efficient. He went for the bait, but unfortunately didn't sink it. Looking forward right now. And again, we're just seeing another position where these teams are going to posture, play defensively, and no one really wants to commit quite yet.
Yeah, ooh, okay, that's going to be the stage. I was curious what that arrow was, but it doesn't really hit the mark. We got the Starfall going down. You see the Futured Vial from the running away Stitches, but the hook, the fishing hook, the rock gets murdered on the back of it. That's going to be a laser on the back as well. And now once more, Dignitas losing out a single kill is going to drop their, well, another curse. They are once again cursed in 16 minutes.
16 minutes and 16 minutes. And a big old goose egg is hanging over Dignitas' head right now. They've not got a single kill this whole entire match. Fnatic are looking flawless right now, as Beyonce would say. They woke up like this, Sean, and they're looking to get this keep in the top lane. Right after they get this keep, their golem is up in 29 seconds. They can retreat and get their golem. They can keep fishing for hooks and picking people off. That's the name of the game, is conservative play, superior positioning, and just landing those hooks. And that has paid off so well for them, as they now almost have an entire level advantage going into here. Level 19 to level 18. And at this stage of the game, that is a huge number lead. They are definitely well on their way to a great window of opportunity with level 20. And with this curse, they're going to get one keep, possibly two.
Oh, no, they're getting all three, Mr. Shanguchi. They are getting all three. We had the Stone Bros in the bottom lane, the Giants, the Ogres. They were doing work during this entire curse. You can see the minion wave. So 3 forts, well, 2 forts in the first, 3 keeps in the second. And at the 17-minute mark, we're looking at 19 and a half. We're into that last stretch for the Golem, for the level 20, and wow, that was a heck of an hour, 1,044 damage. But I mean, what can we do right now other than stage diving in to just kind of get on that point? Dignitas is going to have to really hard engage this. Fnatic knows it too. They've been scouted out. They're actually might even just give this up. Here comes the stage dive.
Stage dive was a little bit premature there. Fred's got out of position, but there is Manchester healing to fall back. There's the future bio, but down in the south, everyone is so low on the side of Fnatic. Chris is doing his own thing on the Vala. She needs an Manchester healing. She doesn't get it. This is the turnaround that Dignitas was looking for right before level 20. A 2-man devouring mob. Chris is caught out of position. He's got to get out of there. He's got to get heals. He might be going down. He's so low. No, he is able to get away now. Ace of Spades caught out of position, and that is a great opportunity for Dignitas. Fred is going to get a hook, but not on the target he wanted to. He's going to catch himself some filet mignon and let it go back to the sea. And now this is going to enable Dignitas to, yes, they are still behind in experience, but now they have pressure on the map. They're going to get this boss, but with 3 keeps down, Sean, those lanes are already pushing in. Their core is going to be under threat of catapults all the time. This is still a very hard spot to be on if you're Dignitas.
But it is what we saw when they went up against LDLC. They were losing. As soon as level 20 starts rearing its head into the the spotlight, it is an absolutely different team that we talk about. I mean, Dignitas got the kill on top of Vala. She went down first. They are eventually able to get Rhaegar, and then because we're missing out the Vala, because the Maw had already been used and everything else, they couldn't kill the Odin. They sunk so much into killing out Chris, and it just didn't pay off in the end of it. And, it's very impressive, I want to say. Level 19 to 19, even though all keeps and all forts are the difference between these teams, we're still almost neck and neck in that experience. That top fort now going down almost puts us back to par, despite the fact that there's 0 buildings here for Dignitas and every other one still up for Fnatic.
And that speaks volumes about the ETC global presence, him soaking lanes efficiently, being able to get a team fight whenever he wants. And now if Fnatic are able to get all the structures, or I'm not Fnatic, if Dignitas are able to push down all the Fnatic structures, they'll get themselves a pretty big experience advantage just due to the numbers game. But that's not as big in the late game. Level 20 is here for both teams at around almost the exact same time. And we're seeing that focusing diodes. For those of you that didn't pay attention in science, it's called a diode. And that's a huge buff to Tychus's laser. It's insane how much damage that laser can do. Increases the range, so it's basically artillery now. And if it's able to charge up its laser completely to full capacity, then it can melt almost anyone, including the frontline warrior ETC. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out, knowing that laser's a threat, if they're going to disengage from it, if they're going to try to kill it, or just simply fight into it. We'll see as the game goes on.
It functions like the Void Rays of old. You know, it's
yes.
well, okay, maybe not exactly the way of gold, but you know, it has a charge up time, and once it starts charging all the way up to its maximum efficiency, it doubles the damage essentially, and that is a big thing. Even ETC, as you said, will melt under that pressure, and he will not be looking so good. But speaking of the pressure, that's gonna be a stage dive in. Chris there with the Blood Dragon, looks at the body blocks there on top of Fred's, not really doing the damage that they need though. This Abomination is just too much. Laser down, Ravenous down, there's the hook on the back of a 3-man Maw. I am not entirely too sure how Narak actually got out of that one alive, but basically every ult is now down on the table, except perhaps that Metamorphosis. We still got Rhaegar in the bag as well, and the teams will once again bounce off each other here at level 20.
Oh, good hook onto Chris. He does have Bolt of the Storm, though. He is going to get away. We're seeing 2 bolts on the big heroes of Illidan and Tyron. Tyron had Bolt of the Storm. That's how she got away in that hook. That was such a stylish hook, though. Style points for Fred. Reinitiation here from a Dignitas. Fred caught out of position, but Ancestral Healing is still up. Ace of Spades has been so patient with that Ancestral Healing, and that has really enabled this team to get a little bit more aggressive whenever there is any point for them to turn around, and it's paid off for them very, very well. Both of these teams are all still alive. So many heroics on cooldown, but Fnatic looks like they're favored a little bit because they still have more fuel in the tank. Everyone is topped off, while on the side of Dignitas, not so much, and I don't think we're going to see a core push here. That might be a little bit overzealous for them to do. Okay, so they're going to fall back, get a tribute, wait for some mercenary camps to spawn. We're going to see if Dignitas has a response.
Well, the response so far is chase the infidels.
Yes.
I mean, Fnatic is just, they get the hooks, they got the damage. I mean, Shinobu had an amazing Maw on the back of all that. And really, I mean, Fnatic's not putting up a ton of pressure, it seems, going back and forth into this. And Lowell was actually able to finish off the channel just before everyone got into town. Here comes the Metamorphosis there from Chris. Lowell's in the front. That's going to be the Ancestral. It will keep him up. Laser, that double range laser. Am I looking at a siege tank right now, Mr. Shane Gucher? Because it just brought the pain to that Illidan from afar. They lock him up. Chris is now down for the count, and double tributes in the pockets now of Fnatic. Will they push in for the win? Are they going to play it safe, get the tribute, possibly even a boss, and just go from there?
That Maw was so pivotal rather, to winning that team fight, and now Fnatic are on the hunt, trying to get themselves more kills. Nurak is low, trying to regen that health as fast as they can. But the core is under siege by catapults in the mid lane, top lane as well. And the core is starting to take hull damage. This is looking so good for Fnatic. They're not even in the base, and they are taking the core down slowly but surely. And this next tribute is going to give them a curse, and that just might be their go time. Full YOLO into the core. It will enable them to do that, and they'll more than likely be able to take it down, especially with that laser back up, because that laser on the core will just sit there. And Dignitas made a big comeback last night, Sean, but I don't know if they can make one like this.
I was going to say, if that owl does not hit, this is game right there. Blood Dragon, the team from Fnatic is split. They're not down here. It's only Fred and Ace. Blood Dragon's going to try to lock them up, but the rest of them are just not here to capitalize. If we had gotten those kills, it could have been a sweep right through bottom for the win. But as it stands, it would not be that third tribute. In fact, if we do get to another tribute, somebody's going home with a curse. But what worries me is this top lane boss. We just used stage dive, 70 seconds on the clock, and I don't think Dignitas can do anything about this boss marching to a 72% core.
Yeah, a 24-minute boss plus a melting point Tychus with his laser. I mean, just the Tychus and the boss alone will be able to secure the win here. Dignitas need to pull a rabbit out of the hat, because if they don't, it's pretty much the end of the game. Like I said, we saw them make a big comeback last night, Sean, but I don't think we're going to see a repeat of that twice. Blood Dragon's going to get hooked, but he is going to be able to get away just fine. There's the Starfall, but this is just delay tactics. There's a core marching down top lane. He has a free one-way ticket to a whole bunch of gold and the coin inside of that core, and that's exactly what he has his eyes on. Dignitas, they're going, screw the team fight, we need to protect our core, and
these
I think this is going to be game one going the way of Fnatic.
I think the catapults are just enough. I mean, they already brought it down to 66. It was already hurting from that, and now with this boss, here comes Fnatic. I mean, they wanted a fight. They wanted Dignitas to be locked up into that top lane, and they got themselves the first win of our semifinals here at the Gosugamers. Enter the Storm, Cup 1, Qualifier number 2. Some really fantastic play defeating out this Illidan comp from Fnatic. It's just absolutely insane that we didn't take